I think America must see that riots do not develop out of thin air. But in the final analysis, a riot is the language of the unheard.
There is a lot of discussion about police misconduct, but it does hit a little bit differently when you have a police chief accusing the sheriff of misconduct, and especially of this variety.
I'm his mother. He didn't deserve this. He was a good boy. He worked hard, took care of his daughter. He took care of me. He made sure I was okay.
The story involves the case of Nathan Mueller. And Nathan Mueller, he went missing back in December of 2024, and he was found in February of 2025 of this year. The Pike County Sheriff's Department in Missouri claimed that Nathan took a bunch of edibles and that this 23-year-old black man just went off the road while driving, and that's why his body was found in the woods. And if that story is starting to already sound a little bit suspicious, because it's a very, very common thing for a black man to go missing on a country or dirt road with a very questionable explanation given, well, you're not alone, because the family of Nathan Mueller suspected foul play, and so did the Bowling Green police chief in Missouri, whose name is Ty Bounds, who called out the Pike County sheriff, whose name is Stephen Corte. And if you don't believe that this police chief called out this sheriff live on camera, well, take a look at this.
Bowling Green Police Chief Colonel Ty Bounds alleges Sheriff Corte knew about the location of Mueller's body a month before. Bounds says suspicions began in January following the arrest of 3 robbery suspects. That's when he says an investigation revealed a connection between the robbery and Mueller's disappearance. Chief Bounds says an intimate relationship was discovered between one of the suspects and a high-ranking Pike County Sheriff's Office official.
The family deserves the truth about what happened to their son, and I am confident the Missouri State Highway Patrol will conduct an impartial and thorough investigation. Corruption has no place in law enforcement and cannot be tolerated. Peace officers must be held accountable for their actions and face justice as any other civilian must.
So why in the world is Chief Bounds and the family of Nathan Mueller suspecting foul play involving the Pike County Sheriff's Department? Well, there are several reasons, and some reasons are not public yet, but the reasons that are public should make you a little bit suspicious. Like, for example, the attorney who's representing Chief Ty Bounds is Chris Lozano, and Chris Lozano says that not only does he have direct evidence that points to the Pike County Sheriff, Stephen Corte, protecting one of his high-ranking sheriff's deputies who had a clear conflict of interest in the case, but he says that in 35 years of practicing law, he has not seen such blatant corruption. And the only reason why the state of Missouri actually listened to Chief Bounds is because evidence from another case is connected to what happened to Nathan Mueller. Because Chief Bounds made the following statement, quote, "The digital data obtained was analyzed by the Bowling Green Protective Unit, Pike County Detective Unit, and myself, and we were able to uncover a close, intimate relationship between one of the suspects in a robbery and a high-ranking official of the Pike County Sheriff's Office," end quote. And there were other statements that were made by Chief Bounds that caused people to question Pike County Sheriff Stephen Corte. Like, for example, the robbery that Ty Bounds is talking about involved Emily Calvin, Tyrese Beatty, and Landon Washington, who are all from Missouri. And they allegedly picked up a man and took him from his home. And by the way, Nathan Mueller's car was found on the property of one of his family members. But back to the story, they took him at gunpoint and then forced him to withdraw money from a bank ATM before dropping him off in a remote area. And that could possibly explain why someone's car would be found running even though they're not in the car. And also that would explain, if someone were taken at gunpoint, why they could have been forced to strip. And now Chief Bounds is saying that he, along with other investigators, found text messages between one of the suspects and a high-ranking Pike County Sheriff's deputy about a separate incident, and that separate incident was the disappearance of Nathan Mueller. And so that means that the Pike County Sheriff's Department and Stephen Corte, if Chief Bounds is correct, knew about what happened to this black man, and they tried to cover it up to protect one of the suspects in a robbery case. And the person that they picked up and forced to withdraw money from an ATM at gunpoint could have very well have been Nathan Mueller. And so basically you had a robbery case, and what Chief Bounds is saying is that that case is connected to what happened to Nathan Mueller, and that is something that only law enforcement could have really seen. And not only is Chief Bounds saying that he saw this evidence of blatant corruption and a cover-up, but he's also saying that other people within his own department and within the Pike County Sheriff's Department itself all saw that corruption. And that's not the only unusual thing about this case that makes you scratch your head. And you see, Nathan Mueller, he was reported missing in Pike County on December 21st of 2024. His body was found on February 28th of 2025. And according to Chief Bounds, the Pike County Sheriff Stephen Corte knew about the whereabouts of Nathan's body almost a month before Nathan was found. And it was the condition of his vehicle and other facts that points to foul play. Like, for example, even though the body of Nathan Mueller was found on February 28th of 2025, his vehicle was found on December 21st of 2024, the same day that he was reported missing. And his vehicle was found, get this, in a dirt patch in Frankfort, Missouri. Now, if you're a black person or you know the history of Black America, well, you know when you find a black man's vehicle in a dirt patch or a dirt road and something bad happened to that black man, you could almost always point to a lynching. We find even more questionable things, like, for example, Nathan Mueller's godmother, Ashley Ashby, said this quote, "His engine was running, air conditioning on full blast. His clothes that he had on his back was in that vehicle. It was 20 degrees with a -8 wind chill that night," end quote. And so, according to what she's saying, Nathan Mueller's car was found running with the air conditioning on full blast. He wasn't wearing any clothes because the clothes he had on his back was actually in that vehicle. And this man was walking out there with no clothes when it was -20 degrees outside with a -8 wind chill. That's what the Pike County Sheriff's Department wants you to believe that a black man was out there doing in Missouri. And what further makes the citizens of Pike County in Missouri believe that Stephen Corte would protect someone who committed a crime if they happen to know him, or if they're one of his sheriff's deputies, or is connected to one of their sheriff's deputies, is the fact that he's done this before. Like, for example, if you look at this Facebook post here from 2022, Stephen Corte is talking about doing a function for veterans, but the post got bombarded with messages from citizens talking about how Stephen Corte protected a sheriff's deputy whose name was Roy Peters, who blew a .192 on the alcohol test, failed the field sobriety test, was arrested for DUI, and all of his charges were tossed out and sealed and replaced with reckless driving. And now I'm reading that almost verbatim from one of the posts that you see right there. And a lot of the comments are about how people can get out of DUIs or how they can get the same protections that Stephen Corte and the court systems gave to Deputy Roy Peters. And so if you're seeing this 3 years ago, don't tell me that this sheriff would not protect someone who's a sheriff's deputy or someone close to a sheriff's deputy. And so it would appear that Sheriff Stephen Corte's dirty deeds in the past are coming back to haunt him.
ACAB, don't you step to ME. I run to your sundown towns, then turn them upside down. But some of y'all monsters like stranger things in the upside down. No surrender, no retreat, certified soldier. Got receipts, you can't walk with my feet. I pack nothing but steel for the heat. I'm not soft, I'm elite. Play my anthem on repeat, now sing it with me. ACAB, hating is just weak. Get off my meat, go take a seat. Came from nothing, now I'm something. Descendant of slaves, enemy slave. It's just how I was raised. Black power, temperature raised. Beautiful yet bloody days. That's why I can't be tamed. None of it was ever a game. ACAB, don't step to me. Ancestral power through me. Big dog, big man, big money. Now feel the teeth.